Welcome back to the LCS Countdown. 6:30 to go till that first game of the day. Before we jump into today's games, a schedule. Reminder that Monday Night League returns tomorrow, where Tigris and the Analysts will be bringing you the final 2 matches of the week. Then Avli and Riv will be joined by Golden Glue and Keith as they kick back and chat about the week. And now let's take a look at what our schedule has cooking for us today. Up first, Immortals and 100 Thieves take to the Rift, with Dignitas trying their hand against Cloud9 in Game 3. As the Academy team from both squads will face off to finish out our day. For more on that Game 1, though, we've got Pastry Time and Jat standing by to give you their thoughts ahead of their cast.
Thank you, Dash. And today we've got 2 teams who are doing well, all things considered, to the surprise of many, with 100 Thieves coming in at 3-2 and Immortals at 2-2.
Absolutely, and for 100 Thieves, while they kind of crawled their way to earlier victories over sOAZ and Golden Guardians, they had their best game of the split versus Team Liquid yesterday. You can see 2.7K gold at 15. That was propelled by their best early game of the split and finished off by 3 solo kills for Ssumday. So I'm looking for them to try and replicate that today, and I want to see them use the red side in the draft to secure Ssumday a good matchup, and then rely on Stunt and Meteos to create the same type of early game they had yesterday.
On the other side, though, looking across at Immortals, they're a team who came into the season with pretty low expectations, honestly, from fans, but they still find themselves at 2-2 and an actual chance to move into a tie for second by the end of the week if they win here and then versus CLG on Monday night.
And for me, they've won largely through teamwork. Hakuho has kind of flown under the radar, but leads the league in kill participation at 88%, meaning where Hakuho goes, the kills often follow. They're also another team coming off of their best game of the split. They had that decisive win versus Golden Guardians last week, and will look to continue that here.
Well, that's what we're looking at, Dash. Until Game 1, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, gents. I want to gather some predictions as we heard the casters' thoughts on the first game of the day. Let's get you guys.
Yeah. They seem.
It's a pretty easy game. I think Immortals vs 100 Thieves is like a lot of these games can go either way, but there is a clear favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I think FlyEG is going to be
What
the
do you
one
think?
that.
I was going to say,
it's
which
an upset. I think that's going to be the upset.
You think that's
FlyEG?
If there is one. I think today is a pretty standard day.
I could see Immortals winning.
I can see Dig.
I can see
giving C9 a tough game.
I can see Golden Guardians grabbing one even against TSM. I mean, like
TSM's
all these.
on the upswing.
Well, you know what?
They're looking like a team.
I rate the spiciness of those predictions a solid 1. You guys couldn't have disagreed on one thing today. Come on.
I was gonna hold my own number, but I was like, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. I knew it too as I put those predictions in. I was like,
you can affirm my rating.
Yeah.
Probably's gonna do the same.
All right, well, ahead of his match today, Zapatoon weighs in on what he hopes for the team.
I mean, I'm not a really huge fan of like who's the carry question as a whole. I don't think it's necessary in a team. I think that all the great teams in League of Legends have always been playing as a unit, whether it was like a unit of huge carries or not. So it's more looking forward to like see the team play as a unit and see how we kind of understand and try to apply our game plan more so than, oh, look at this player because he gets all the resources, because I don't really believe that's the way the game works. I mean, 2-2 is satisfying knowing that we had 2 days of training before the season started. I'm not a huge result person either. You know, it's like the process is more important. So I'm working more so on the process. It's good that we're not late, that we got wins on the way. We still need to step up a lot as a team. I feel like it's really hard to answer because the peak is usually happening during summer splits. So I take this as a learning experience, kind of regardless of the process, regardless of the results. But I think we can eventually be a good team. I mean, we always expect the win and play well. Like, it's not only just getting the win. It's important for the fans, for the audience, but as well, like, how do you achieve the win? Is it a clean win? For instance, like our win against GG was much more clean than the one against TSM, so it's kind of looking forward to have that. I'm always excited to play against other teammates, former teammates like Meteos. So yeah, I hope just it's going to be a very good game for the fans to watch and not a clown fiesta.
For sure.
I mean, there is a lot of former Immortals fans. Even when I was coaching Optic, there was a lot of Immortals fans in the audience. So I just want to say to the loyal ones that stayed like on board with the IMT train, thanks to you guys, and I mean, we'll try to make you proud.
Hit me with your quick thoughts on his response to that first question, kind of the approach of the team and the idea of having a carry versus not having a carry.
I mean, like, ideologically, it feels nice. You know, we're a team, everyone's equals and stuff. But really, if you're playing against a team with like no strong point, like that's a really easy draft, really easy game. Like you got to have someone on the team that you're like, we got to put bans in. We need to counterpick this player. Like, we can't pick these champions because they'll destroy us.
I mean, it's one thing to be like, okay, well, we don't over-invest in the player.
Yeah.
Like, we're not always drafting our own person, always getting the jungle proximity up. Like, the jungle's playing around him all the time. But you do want someone who is the threat. And I feel like that's kind of the rub against Immortals right now, is who is the most threatening on that team?
Right, so we'll get into who that might be, but I am going to go to the 100 Thieves win conditions first. Let's get those up on the board before we establish how Immortals might find a victory.
Okay, so I'm 100 Thieves. I think my win conditions are pretty easy. I'm going to just play like I did yesterday. I think they played a pretty smart game. They didn't take like huge risks. I think their late game shot calling like fell apart a little bit, but I think that can happen in some like these longer games. So I'm going to go with play like Saturday, and I don't want to risk early game. I think Immortals does not have a strong mid-late game, and I think the only way we can kind of get tripped up is if, we get, I don't know, stomped early, something unlucky happens.
That's what I'm hoping happens.
Okay.
For me, I want to attack bot lane early. I mean, with all the lane swaps that happen in 8 minutes, you have to be aggressive from the drop, as soon as it starts.
Yep.
And so I like Hakuho. You heard Jad talking about how he is the one where most of their kills happen around. And I think Stunt is someone that you can potentially find in situations that are around more like mid-river skirmishes in the bot side where people are moving around for vision control. I think you can catch him there. So I want to be very proactive with Xmithie and Hakuho around the bot river.
Does that mean you think that Altec is eventually the guy that Immortals is going to have to get behind as their star
I think
or
you
their
can do
carry?
it kind of how sometimes happens with Cody Sun, where he's not like trying to stomp people in lane, but you are spoon-feeding him kills. And I think Xmithie and Hakuho can try and do that.
Fair enough. We'll have to see if they can give us that kind of a performance today up against 100 Thieves. But with that, we're going to throw it out to the battle arena to get ourselves into the first game of the day.
Thank you very much, Dash. Let's kick things off here, Jad. This should be quite the game. Both Immortals and 100 Thieves somewhat on the rise, I would say. Certainly 100 Thieves have to be feeling good off their win yesterday.
Absolutely. Beating Team Liquid is always a milestone achievement for any team, even if they are playing without Broxah. So I like what the desk said right there about trying to stay and build off of their previous games, and can't wait to see what we see in draft here.
Well, I like the respect on the 100 Thieves side. Akali and Rumble, get him out of here. Champions been very strong for quite a while. Lucian, Aatrox, and Xayah on the other side there for IMT.
Yeah, set ban as well. I was thinking that would have been the first pick if it was not banned, but with all the 80 carry bans coming out of Immortals, the Aphelios makes the most logical sense.
And Aphelios has certainly been one of the premier ADs. We'll see if Cody does want to opt into the Senna or play something a little bit more aggressive. Senna is such a different style of bot laner, but I think we're starting to see more drafts where teams understand how to put her in different comps, and certainly a very strong laner and overall good champion as well. So seen a lot of this matchup, and looks like we will see it again.
Yeah, I think Senna Braum or Senna Tom are a good 1-2 on red side here, if that's what they choose to do. It does slightly change the way you need to position your waves late game, but that shouldn't be that much of a weakness to work around because it can be so strong later. And also, interesting that they did the Gangplank here so early for Ssumday, because with Tom and Braum both still being up, if they do want to peel support for Senna, Immortals is never going to take both of them, so they see the GP as a higher priority.
Also clearly happy to blind it here. Maybe just convinced that sOAZ doesn't have something 1v1 that Ssumday can be too afraid of. And again, given his recent performances on Gangplank, can't fault him too much there. Wanting to take this pick early. Braum, though, will be the pickup.
Yeah.
Is the most played champion in the LCS all time.
LCS history. Yeah. If you're watching Jazz Stats, thank you for that FaceTime.
Don't think we'll see Zed, sadly, here for Eika.
Yeah, Zed might be the most hover champion of all time.
Yeah, him and Teemo, right up there. But Zoe's certainly been good for both these mid laners, so maybe something to consider if they want to take it here. But seen a lot of control mages as well. Mid staying fairly diverse as far as its champions go, but actually going to be a jungler instead. Xmithie deciding he wants Rek'Sai now.
Yeah, so they're trying to pinch 100 Thieves a little bit here by not matching a soul lane pick. This is basically Immortals and sOAZ saying that they're okay eating a few target bans in phase 2, and then 100 Thieves now needs to pick between jungle and support. Whatever they pick now, when they go through the second phase of bans, they're going to have to deal with less. So with the Gragas locked in, they opt for comfort for Meteos and say, we don't care if you ban Tahm Kench.
Makes sense. Gragas again, kind of picking up speed as a champion, has been good for a long, long time from that position. But actually some mid lane bans here. LeBlanc going to be the 4th ban overall for 100 Thieves. Ryoma deciding he doesn't want to play against that. And Yasuo on the other side.
They're just throwing out bans, Pacer time. No fear of the Tom Kench from 100 Thieves here, and more so looks like they're just trying to get a little bit of posturing for that mid lane matchup. Ornn ban is a top lane since there's no top lane picked by Immortals.
Interesting to see, you know, kind of the best tank in top being banned against the GP, who tends to do fairly well in those matchups, but Ornn is so good at everything else and generally survives lane that I think I like just respectfully banning that one away. Zoe, that I mentioned, also will be taken out of the pool. So we'll see what 100 Thieves have on offer here for pick number 4. Feels like taking your support now makes sense. You already know the 2v2 matchup.
And you can still go with something more aggressive since there were no bans. The Thresh was effective for Stunt yesterday. It offers a certain semblance of peel. The unlikely combo of Senna Thresh from a lore perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, actually pretty good in the 2v2. Let's see how Immortals want to finish out their draft though. sOAZ will have to decide how he wants to combat the Gangplank in the top lane. And we'll see what Eika wants to blind here. Gonna guess a control mage. They're pretty safe to take. Syndra also has been very popular, so maybe that's the champ they want to go for. Cho'Gath, not necessarily on my radar, but is going to be the pickup there.
It's for the GP counter. I mean, sOAZ is an old school player, so brings out an old school pick. I don't hate it. This is something that I expect from Immortals actually throughout the year, is they don't care what other teams in the LCS think is good. They're just going to pick what they think they can win with. And the Cho'Gath, I think, is a perfect example of that. Syndra, though, is a power pick.
See what Ryoma has here for potential counter picks. This does somewhat block Orianna, although people are still willing to play that matchup some of the time. Certainly lots of considerations. That's kind of a fun one, actually.
That would be fun. They'd be very heavy AD, even though they have the Gragas jungle for AP threat.
All right, it is Ori instead. So even though I said, again, Syndra somewhat blocks this pick because 1v1, Orianna doesn't have the best time, but Orianna's pretty stable in most situations, so Ryoma just happy to take the champ he played yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, pretty big late game coming in for 100 Thieves in this draft. If they are to subscribe to the let's try and play relatively safe early game, that's definitely a possibility. Looking forward to this one to see where the sOAZ versus Ssumday goes in that top lane matchup. Gragas can get any kill pressure onto Ssumday. Ssumday had 3 solo kills yesterday.
That's a lot.
Yeah, just in a game.
We'll see if sOAZ does, in fact, suffer the same fate. But potentially topside could have a lot of early activity. I do think Immortals have a few more go buttons, let's say. I mean, Senna Gangplank, very good from a overall DPS perspective. Lots of different things they can add, but not that many ways to directly engage on the enemy short of a really well-placed stunt hook or Meteos flashing in there with the body slam. I do, personally, I think this is a holdover from watching too much LPL, is that I like when Senna's ult can be used offensively, kind of like an old Galio ulti when you got the Jarvan jumping in there or something like that. But again, perfectly good in playing more attrition-y longer fights as well, because if you don't kill Senna quickly, she tends to win the fight if it lasts too long.
Yeah, I definitely think that aside from a little bit of splitting for 100 Thieves, this composition is going to be about grouping and fighting. So instead of offensively using the Senna ult for 1v1s in side lanes, just used as a big nuke in team fights.
Well, we'll see how the game shakes out. Immortals, again, can tie for second if they rattle off 2 straight wins here. This is their first game of the week. They will play at Monday Night League tomorrow as well. The 100 Thieves have to be feeling the momentum is building. And for a team that was kind of admittedly expected things to go slowly,
Yeah.
not that slow, beating up TL yesterday in a fairly impressive game. But I think expectations for both of these teams have been already somewhat disproven, so kind of a nice place for them to meet early in the season.
Yeah, to the victor go the spoils. If 100 Thieves wins, they'll be guaranteed tied for second by the end of the week, since we have Cloud9 undefeated and then no one at 1 losses and kind of a clump of teams at 2. Meanwhile, Immortals, with this game and then COG on Monday Night League, have an opportunity to also be tied for first after 3 weeks, which when you looked at a lot of the preseason power rankings, people had Immortals down somewhere between 8th and 10th. So that would be quite vindicating for them. Although Zabutin, if you were watching a few minutes ago in the interview, said he's more of a process person, you know, doesn't worry that much about the results, especially in spring. But the results are nice.
Yes.
Right? If they do follow, you can be as much of a process person as you want, but winning games always feels good.
I can tell you from every interaction I've ever had with a pro player, they love winning.
Yeah.
So certainly from a player perspective, So like when that goes well, as Eika getting Electrocute procced early against Ryoma. Ooh, late invade as well.
Late invade with Braum. You can see Meteos already pushed off of blue, trying to get the Wolf camp in so he doesn't lose out too much efficiency.
See where he goes after this, but will not be spotted on the Wolves. So pretty low effort invade there from Immortals, but does give them the enemy blue. See how this kind of brings out through the rest of the early jungle pathing, but Xmithie, no smite needed, just going to go ahead and take the Gromp as well.
I love late invades with Braum. He just wins basically every level 1 fight for your team, so not letting the other team get scout wards on you and going in a little bit late is great. And now we're going to get to see how Meteos tries to counter this. So if we look at actually what's set up on the map, there's already a ward at Xmithie's blue buff. So he wants knowledge of where Meteos goes from here, and since he's full cleared the Gromp as well, that's potentially an XP lead for Xmithie, but it does depend on where he goes from here.
Yeah, Meteos though already on his other side, of course, because he's out of camps after the blue and Gromp got stolen, and he took his Wolves. But Xmithie on the red, not rushing over to his blue to try and complete a 3 buff just yet. But Meteos is actually just staying on his top side right now.
Yeah, I expect Meteos to just take this and then go back for his red and just say, all right, I got counter jungle 2 camps, but respawn timers are really low, and he's probably expected to be fine. I actually haven't done the math on this. If he actually gets level 3 from Krugs, he should probably, but there's a chance he doesn't with that 3 camp combination.
Certainly find out shortly.
Yeah, he does.
He does. Even has the last few to finish off. 1 barrel easily cleans those out, so Meteos will go ahead and finish clearing the rest of his jungle after some of it got taken away. Xmithie though is on his blue, so Meteos will lose a major buff to start the game, but again, I think just happy farming things up for now as Xmithie may be looking top here for Ssumday.
Yeah, he's got to go fast.
Level 4, oh, good flash.
He
really
can kill
nicely
him.
placed Rupture though.
Maybe.
Gonna keep forward flashing there. The orange is out for a bit of extra health. Conqueror procs. Not quite enough. The Raptor's good! And Xmithie nails first blood.
And that started from the late invade, if you think about it in totality. Ssumday thought he'd be able to get away, but the fact that he couldn't sidestep any of the ruptures is ultimately what did him. He had to flash the first one, didn't have flash by the second time, it ends up falling.
And maybe most impressively, despite the late invade from IMT's bot lane, they're actually here harassing Ryoma back to base. After Meteos is also in danger of losing the crown. Xmithie gonna smite it away and now chase the Gragas. He's a level down. Ryoma here to help, but again, the bot lane's still here. Here's Eika over the top, does get the stun. Conqueror proc, Hakuho in there. Meteos gonna have to run. No flash, does get out just barely with the body slam.
Very close to a kill by Immortals in this explosive early game. After shoving in bot, Hakuho roams mid, and Xmithie also doing everything he can to delay the recall. So now the pressure game's on, right? There's flash burn top. They've pushed Meteos out of the jungle, burn his flash, counter jungling his Raptors, trying to pressure in as many places as possible.
You mentioned sOAZ, an old school player and an old school champion. His accuracy here also really helping out.
Yeah, I mean, you could see what Ssumday wanted to do. He wanted to push that wave into turret and then back off. And in the fraction of a second before he's able to back off, Xmithie arrives, and then the very tail end of that rupture gets it.
Hey, I've seen this before.
Hello.
Knock up into rupture this time, no accuracy needed. Just an easy follow-up kill potentially as Ssumday get him back. No, not enough. Almost cooked the turret shot enough to take down sOAZ, but he will live.
sOAZ still hadn't recalled, so no additional items for this return gank, and the patience by Ssumday to hold his oranges until he was lower is what made that dive ineffective. So back in control of this lane, even after that, and able to get the wave into the turret. That's the important thing.
Yeah, Meteos with the Predator, clearly upset, just ran to top lane to try and potentially salvage something there, but the situation is fine. Ssumday does live through the second attempt on his life, and sOAZ will finally complete his recall with a battle wave ahead in CS right now. And TP back from Cody to the bottom lane. Still a little ahead on CS if he clears most of this wave, but Hakuho and Altec just playing aggressive. Nice hook into the root. But no follow-up there on the Braum. As you can see, Altec and Hakuho happy to shove the wave and just go somewhere else. Already you could see what their presence in mid did to this early game.
Yeah, at 6 minutes, I hope 100 Thieves holds the wave here as long as they can, because they've lost teleport advantage in that bottom lane, and you would like to try and deny as many minions to force the opponent TP out, which is what we see right here. So now neither bot lane will have TP for the 8 minute window.
Hakuho again getting aggressive. The stunt going back. Cody does have to play somewhat carefully. They're just going to get as many of these as he can, try and keep them away from the turret. Seems just fine right now in the 1v2 with Ssumday in danger of being dove once again. But Xmithie not going to go for it.
Yeah, really important moment in the game here. Ssumday needs to avoid dying to the first Cho'Gath peak because that lane can get out of control very quickly. And while he's kind of in that 1v2, Meteos is trying to catch up on experience elsewhere on the map. So trying to make Ssumday do a lot here, but so far he's holding on.
Makes sense though, given the game he had yesterday with 0 deaths. Already starting off well here for Immortals as Ryoma will be donated his blue. Meteos does not get one.
Yeah, that's a toughie. The mid laner is in a tough matchup, and the jungler is as well.
Ssumday
If
solo
he
kills,
gets
by
a
the way.
solo kill here.
Doesn't have flash. Q not enough for the slow, but will force sOAZ's flash out.
Now he's got to watch out.
Yep, Eika and Xmithie, a false sense of security may have been bred here in top lane. So it's going to be the bait. Now he's going to get some real bad news. Another very accurate rupture, unleashed power, and there's the piece you talked about, chat. sOAZ.
Ssumday with an overreach right there. Everyone was missing on the map. He pushed sOAZ off, but he needed to just back up into his turret. When Ryoma moved towards blue buff, they lost all ability to take stock of the top side of the map, and Ssumday pays the price.
Sometimes it looks too good to be true, and in that case, the 1v1 certainly was. sOAZ burns his flash to give his teammates time to come in for the kill. Ssumday suffers his second death in the first 8 minutes as Xmithie continuing to, again, with control of this top side, counter jungling camps away from Meteos, still very far ahead on XP. In fact, as the numbers show right now, he's 2 levels ahead. Of course, not quite that bad.
It's pretty close to that bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. Ssumday here, you can see outplaying the Rupture, getting the Grass proc, knows he can't chase into Fog, but his GP ultimate did enough to push. He was really just running down in the river to check for people coming, but because of the path that Eika and Xmithie took, gets caught by surprise.
2v2, center ulti out from Cody. Good block though from Hakuho. And Altec ignited, but will not fall. I like the attempt though from 100 Thieves, starting to get aggressive in the 2v2. Cloud Drake also went over to 100 Thieves after the topside play, but again, this continued control of topside does give the first Rift Herald to Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals did not have to swap their bottom lane up or deal with any type of extended fight versus Senna in River because of that topside control. So nice cashing out of Xmithie's pressure there by Immortals to be able to take the Rift Herald without having to swap up any of the lanes.
And sOAZ, as you can see, just by the numbers in the 1v1, has a kill, has an assist, up almost 20 CS on the GP. Despite the fact that Ssumday's clearly comfortable in a 1v1 to try and fight the Cho'Gath, but it's been pretty unfair from the first few minutes as Meteos charging up towards the top side, still behind a level. Gonna get knocked up here, puts down the barrel. Eika flashing in, unleashed power, just goes straight for it, and that's enough.
Meteos is not allowed to be there based on the current state of his lanes. So Immortals collapse on him fairly easily to pick up that kill, and this has been a pretty good display of Xmithie's jungling control. He's got winning lanes. He's playing 100% around topside and making the most of it.
See, sOAZ also just trying to hold this wave a little bit. Continue to deny CS away from Ssumday. Ryoma does not catch Xmithie recalling there. It does at least spot the controller, but has to dip back to mid to keep up the farm. Another ulti there from Ssumday, just trying to break his freeze, I suppose. sOAZ has been trying to hold for quite a while. And it's not stopping, unfortunately, for Ssumday. Cho'Gath more than tanky enough to just sit in the wave.
And this is so tough because now Ssumday's saying, hey, I need jungle attention or someone up here so I can get the wave into the turret. But we saw what happened to Meteos the last time he was up there. So Ssumday actually, because he had the roam of his mid lane and support, is able to get that wave into the turret, kind of, but even then, sOAZ holds it. And sOAZ actually, I think, potentially made a mistake there by breaking the freeze.
I think so too. Cody Sun though in trouble. That's going to be another one over. IMT with their 4th kill of the game. Cody just caught out in the river.
And Xmithie is seemingly always where 100 Thieves doesn't expect him to be. He's been camping topside. They say a wave's crashing. They go there. Meanwhile, that means Cody thinks he'd be able to do something bottom, but he can't.
Ryoma, that's not a good spot to be. Does get unleashed on again. Ulti out of Gragas, does dodge. The Braum with the stasis, good. Lantern there from Thresh. Oh goodness, hello! Xmithie out of nowhere will go down. A little too far as Meteos finally gonna get some revenge.
Oh no, Xmithie! That was Lee Syndrome on Rek'Sai, actually. He just went in for an execute. Even if he gets the kill, he'd be given over his advantage. The death timer, as well as the kill given over, does give Meteos some time to catch up.
Certainly a one-way trip on that one. Xmithie doesn't even get the trade. There's good damage down in the bot lane as Altec and Hakuho pushing 2v2 and using that demolished proc to get some tower plate gold, but it's been a pretty spicy early game here as it seems that Ryoma just shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and Immortals thinks they have a good 3v3 fight here, but Stopwatch comes through to dodge the stun, and he pressed it. Wow, that's actually, I gotta credit 100 Thieves for this bait. Xmithie pressed the ult while Orianna was well in front of her turret. Then Lantern into Flash pulls Xmithie all the way behind tier 1, which ultimately leads to his death. So actually pretty well played there by 100 Thieves to pull the Rek'Sai in.
Yep, and that's their first kill on the board, so getting a little bit of gold back in their favor. Still down about 2,000 as the next Drake has spawned. Rift Herald also going to be summoned here in the bot lane. I think that's enough to finish off this tower that's been weakened to less than 2 plates.
Yeah, unless they could get the minions up early, but nope, Rift Herald's gonna get the charge off. That'll be first turret.
Yep, gold going over. Altec gonna collect the bulk of it there, and Immortals just continuing to say that wherever Xmithie is, that's where we have control. They're gonna take the Ocean Drake as well.
And now the question becomes, how quickly can Immortals continue to accelerate this game versus how well can 100 Thieves stall out? The Righteous Glory Cho'Gath is someone who's going to be trying to make action happen.
100 Thieves going in, Meteos looking for it, Senna ulti out as well. sOAZ in a 2v1 briefly, but Eika's here as well. Ssumday also roaming up, and the TP's in from Altec. The flanking Aphelios. Not what I expected. I mean, like Vigil out, tags Ryoma, but only one. As Ssumday gonna keep them back with the barrel. Shockwave not available. Stun there onto Meteos, so again, it's just so low. It feels not so fun, but this time the Syndra ulti is not enough to kill him.
Yeah, but they do not suffer any casualties during that play, so one Righteous Glory cooldown down and not too many minions lost on the side. So what we really need to do, Patriot Time, is we need to pay attention to this gold lead. It's 3,000 gold in 14 minutes with Drake up in 4. I've been watching a lot of International League.
Yes.
And LCK is doing this strange thing that I'm wondering if it's going to be able to be mimicked by other regions. So what tends to happen once a team gets a 2,000 to 3,000 gold advantage is the game actually locks and then they play for Dragon Soul. If we saw that here, we would actually see very few kills while Immortals take control of the map and goes for Dragon Soul. I would be shocked if that is long-term the best way to play League of Legends. So I'm looking for Immortals to actually make a lot of those types of river roams and turret dives before that becomes a thing to extend their advantage. And the place they should attack is actually Cody Sun in the top lane right now as he's trying to catch wave with his turret. It's the slowest wave clear player on the team, and I think the best place to attack.
Well, I have to agree, as this also will help out in any potential furthering of the gold leads. Second Rift Herald will be started here by Immortals. And it looks like not much of a contest, but Meteos is trying to just wedge his way in there. Onto Hakuho he goes, has to flash though. Stunt finds Eika. GOP there after the cast from Meteos, who doesn't knock them back in, and Immortals buy enough time for Xmithie to finish off the objective.
Yeah, I don't think there was any realistic way 100 Thieves could contest that objective. The top lane turret's now going to go over to Altec and extend his gold lead.
I like this counter push a lot though from 100 Thieves, as Eika will be forced to flash away from Thresh. Trying to break mid, but the wave clear from Syndra and the Cho'Gath being there just to defend any dives is enough.
Yeah, also make sure to tune into Monday Night League. We just got to see that. It's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time on Mondays. 2 of the LCS games will be played in prime time right there.
Again, Immortals still chasing that potential tie. Make sure to tune in to see them play tomorrow. Tower though in the top lane. Actually, that Rift Herald got 2.
Yeah. 100 Thieves, after contesting the Rift Herald, ran back mid lane so no one could catch.
I appreciate the Rift Herald demonstrating your point about Senna's wave clear. Cody Sun could not clear everything out in time for the third charge to not come through. There is still mid lane, at least here for 100 Thieves to try and stay anchored to. So they've got a little bit of an easier time to contest for the upcoming Drake in a minute 45, but especially if Senna's the one clearing out this awfully long top lane, it's going to take so long for Cody to shove this all out and then waddle his way down to the objective. Immortals have a big open space to play with here.
Absolutely, Drake in 1 minute 30 seconds. They'll easily pick up that one. Even though they were unable to get kills, getting those 2 top lane turrets does extend that goal lead. It was 3,000 the last time we did check-in. They've made it up to 4. And that mid turret is kind of dangling. That's where Hakuho's going next. Nice play by Immortals.
I like this again. Just trying to crack mid. This is the last outer tower they need.
Well, they were going to dive if that landed. If that Aphelios root landed, they were going to dive.
No dive, of course, coming. Root does land onto Stunt, but again, Immortals with no wave don't want to just go right in under the tower, especially since 100 Thieves have had some time to rotate players around. There is a blue buff, though, open for the taking. Meteos has only given one away and did not get one himself at level 1. Oh, I'm not going to get that either. So it's just beasted away. Meteos, though, trying to force something, but again, behind on XP.
They're going.
Rough life in the jungle sometimes. As Meteos gets the body slam, but doesn't find the ultimate follow-up.
I can understand why Meteos was trying to force, because he sees Eika top lane with no TP, but he also has Ssumday in base. And even if he has TP, he's going to be so late there, so time that 100 Thieves could have just spent trying to prep the waves ends up being used for no gain, and now they lose complete control of the jungle.
Yeah, they already lost mid to the minions. Root gonna land onto Xmithie. Maybe a flank here from
Gotta back away.
Meteos and Ryoma, but yeah, just so scary. IMT, again, continuing to clear things out. Drake up in 5. 100 Thieves feeling very slow on a lot of these rotations, but I think it's more just to do with the pressure that IMT have been able to put out this game. And this Drake will go again over to Immortals with no contest.
None necessarily expected after 100 Thieves tried to do that move. All right, pace your time. We set the timer. 5 minutes.
Yep.
Will there be kills in between now and the next Drake? Or is Immortals saying, we have enough of a lead, let's play for soul and just bounce these waves back and forth? There's a real possibility that happens.
I really hope that doesn't happen, but we'll see.
Might.
It might.
It happens almost every game in the LCK.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like it's not... Anyway, it's fine. I feel like it's not Syndra's game plan. Like, you pick Syndra Cho'Gath, you have all these different ways to pick people off. The map is completely open. Like, they can't get vision. You can just move into their jungle. Someone's going to face check, surely.
You would want, but it's kind of a handshake, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, is it possible for the defending team to just catch waves with their turret enough to freeze the gold and then only peek their head out when there's Drakes? Like 100 Thieves is contesting the mid wave right now with Senna because they don't want to wait for it to crash. That actually puts them in danger, and that would be a way for Immortals to break open the game.
Oh, speaking of, Cody Sun with a lantern, can't grab it. In stasis right now, but I don't think he is going to get out. Good shockwave as well, but sOAZ with the big flank. TP's in and feasts on Cody Sun.
So,
Case in point.
They didn't have to do that. They could have just sat at the turret, because what objectives are up right now? Like, what are they contesting? They didn't get river vision at all. Now, they give total freedom for Immortals to take over control of Rek'Sai jungle, and they give over more gold to the other team.
There's always the question of, you know, do you want to handshake the game when Ssumday's Gangplank is in it? It's kind of one of the champions that you tend to not want to give lots of time to.
Yeah, so I want to see 100 Thieves force Immortals to do something. Because right now, they just let Immortals do something.
Got it.
Because they push mid.
Let's see if they're willing to let the game drag out a little bit longer. Immortals, though, certainly off to the early game start the analysts were asking for.
Yeah, big early game for them.
And 3 minutes until something definitely happens.
Yeah.
We'll see if any action happens in the interim.
And because they have Aphelios Cho, if they can get to red gun, white gun, that combination, if Altec games his gun system to get that happening, then they can force Baron and kill it very quickly and have good secure with Cho'Gath. But to do that, they do need to get control of 100 Thieves red side jungle, like deeper control than they have right now. Otherwise, the Baron take would just be too slow.
Yep. Again, this is that one little ward, not going to be spotted yet by Meteos, who's continuing to try and force here. Popping a Predator. Oh, Ryoma with a shockwave on himself, looking for Xmithie, but did not get it. I think Ryoma just misplaced the ball there. Although the fight's still continuing, sOAZ is just running into the enemy team. He's not afraid of anything. Ulti out from Aphelios, and Hakuho getting low from Cody Sun's return ult, but it's kind of a messy one here. sOAZ though just continuing to run in, and 100 Thieves can't really chase. Eika looking for the ulti, will find Stunt with the unleashed power. And this can't kill the Cho'Gath, so Immortals eventually get a kill.
I mean, with Senna on the team and a stone-played Cho'Gath, it's going to be a while until anyone can think to shred through the front line that's going to be that team, especially when Hakuho gets his stone plate. That's why he has the stopwatch. He was working up towards it. Again, though, like that was a fight that 100 Thieves started. They said, we want to contest this spot, and they give over the gold. It's now grown to 5,000.
These are all opt-in experiences for 100 Thieves. This one, okay, maybe not as much, although good counter ulti there from Ssumday. This time Ryoma forces a flash with the shockwave. So I guess my question to you, Jet, is in the case of playing for Soul, should 100 Thieves be contesting for this third drake, or do they only contest for the Soul drake?
It does depend on the setup. Generally speaking, like, this is not 100 Thieves' plan to wait to make... 100 Thieves' plan is clearly not to freeze gold and then contest Dragon Soul.
Yes.
But if that was the plan, then they wouldn't actually contest anything until Dragon Soul.
Got it.
You would just... Since Immortals isn't freezing any waves, they just sit at turrets with as many wards in their jungle as they can, catch the waves, and then clear a few jungle camps when possible to try and keep the gold as close to lock as possible. Gold is unlocked, though, because they've been opting in for these fights, and plays like this is what Immortals would have to do. So now Immortals is forcing something, which means now 100 Thieves can fight.
On the Meteos, though, fight continuing. Good stopwatch there from Meteos, dodges the Void Rush. Good hook as well from Stunt, ulti out from Senna, and Hakuho will finally be slain. That stone play kept him alive for a while, though, as Meteos will be forced to flash from Eika.
Yeah, that was good play by 100 Thieves right there. They forced a play onto Ssumday. There are too many people there, and then with the numbers advantage, 100 Thieves decided to go for play, and they win the fight.
Well, looks like this Drake, though, will also go over to IMT. So unfortunately, not enough of a team fight win for 100 Thieves to potentially take this Drake away. So it does go over to a fairly full sOAZ at this point, stacking up the feast quite swiftly.
Yeah, he's gotten 5 of his total 6 minions he's allowed to chomp, has gotten 2 champs, 1 epic, so he's well on his way to Giant Cho, 10 total feast stacks. Watching this fight one more time, Meteos does pop Hakuho back, and they have the teleport come in to create a later in the fight numbers advantage, since there were 2 people on Immortals over in the other lane, and they win the fight.
Done there over the wall from Eika, at least forcing a summoner out of Meteos. Now 100 Thieves over to the Baron side of the map, because there's no Drake to look at for the next 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, with Aphelios, they can actually threaten this, and I really want to see them do so with a 5,000 gold lead. They should move into the 100 Thieves jungle and hope that 100 Thieves tries to contest him there, because then they can win a fight where Meteos, Ryoma, and Cody Sun are standing.
Did see one piece of the puzzle for Altec. Did have Crescendum up. But looks like he's clearing the wave right now, so perhaps is just burning ammo on keeping the waves pushed out.
Yeah, I think the important things to track here is sOAZ's teleport timer, because he is the guy who actually needs to face check up into these areas to get jungle stuff. But since he doesn't have TP and Ssumday can match it on the other side, they're just waiting for that to be the case. Once he has TP, I actually think sOAZ will recall, then run to Baron, and only have the teleport in case of a backup plan. I think they're just stalling for a bit.
Yep, again, 3 items now on Altec. 2.5 left for Eika with the Sword Producer. Attempt on sOAZ's life in the 2v1, but might take a while if it happens at all.
Yeah, try to keep him from the blast cone.
sOAZ is going for the soft target. It is Meteos, level 11 Gragas. GP ult, though, is Stunt also joining the party, but that's to evacuate Ssumday as the rest of Immortals have rotated over.
Good attempt. Just don't have the damage to kill Cho.
Yep.
For obvious reasons.
Still has Stone Plate up. Regenerating health. Stunt gonna get knocked up here by Hakuho. Moonlight Vigil into Cody. Root is gonna land, but Senna in the camouflage not going down yet. Unfortunately for Stunt, he will not be so lucky as sOAZ on a killing spree picks up yet another kill.
Yep, now that they've gotten out GP and Gragas ultimate, as well as killed Stunt, it's easy to move into the red buff to get as much vision as they can.
100 Thieves gonna try and clear what waves they can. Stunt back up in 17 seconds. IMT not rushing things. Great stun there from Eika. Barrel though back from Ssumday. He's in there. He wants to try and make it happen for the team. Gets Silence still dancing around, but again, sOAZ is just the largest roadblock en route to try and kill the IMT backline, and now the counter engage happens. Again, still a 5v4 for 100 Thieves. with Stunt tearing down mid lane with the Mobies.
Yeah, doing everything they can to get this mid wave pushed in, which could give them access to a Baron's fight if Immortals tries to go there. So playing a risky game here, but 100 Thieves trying to stay in it.
And 2 minutes till they'll also have to worry about the Infernal Soul on the Immortals side. Some recalls happening, but no one will be caught backing. Stunt trying to find a hook over the wall. Very common spot for people to back from, but Stunt does not guess right that time. At least 100 Thieves are now finally clear some vision out of the river. It feels like they haven't been in this section of the map for a lot of the game, to be honest. But gonna have to reset themselves. And again, 2 big objectives that Immortals will be able to drag them between.
Total uphill battle. An Infinity Edge completed by Altec right now. So he is exceptionally strong. And unless Meteos can get an initiation clean onto the Aphelios, I think it would be a lost fight. So great front-to-back team fighting from Immortals.
Hook length again. Root from Senna is actually going to grab 2, but sOAZ with the flank. Once again, knocks up the front side, and Stunt just cannot live. Ssumday gets ulted by Aphelios. Ryoma trying to zone them out, but sOAZ just unrelenting. Misses that follow-up rupture, but doesn't really matter. Eika flashing in onto Meteos. Into stasis he goes with the Zhonya's, but the knockups there. Ryoma with a decent 2-man shockwave. Cody Sun follows up ulti, but Meteos with the jungler dead and the beast off cooldown. IMT can threaten either objective.
Yeah, just not even close there for 100 Thieves. They thought maybe they'd have a catch on to Hakuho, but ended up just getting pulled further into Immortals, and now they turn for Baron. Still feast up, so they can burst this from about 2,000.
Good ward here, but a tough steal to ask for.
And Meteos isn't even alive. 100
Yeah. Ooh, hello! Really nice stun from Eika, finds 2. sOAZ decides that he's wanting to grab more kills instead of the Baron. Doesn't have his flash, though. So gonna have to be a bit more careful here, but is he even gonna die? Ssumday trying desperately to get the kill. Ryoma will find the shutdown. Baron is open! GLP! Very close, but not enough. Xmithie with the smite does secure it.
Yeah, they still had smite. Getting the shutdown on to sOAZ is a nice consolation prize, especially if 100 Thieves can rush for Infernal right here. Knowing sOAZ is dead for 30 and Cody Sun has 15, yeah, they're gonna look to group right away and go for this Infernal Drake.
In case you're wondering, GLP Bolt does about just a little over 200 damage at the moment for Ryoma, so a very unlikely steal.
Good try. Xmithie doesn't even have smite, so 100 should just look to burn this. Cody, you gotta TP now.
Ooh, Xmithie over the top though, looking to contest for the Drake. Smite still not there, does go over to Meteos, but Infernum ulti from Aphelios is going to cause a good amount of damage, and Stunt's left out to dry. See you later, as Hakuho picks up his first kill of the game. Blue buff does go over to Ryoma, but 100 Thieves still stuck defending.
Yeah, Soul prevented for now. Stunt goes down, and now Immortals look to push with Baron. See how they're set up with about was a 3-2 split for a while, but now Eika just getting the turret threat in the mid lane as they look to break inhibitor bot.
Plenty of places to attack. Baron's still up for a minute 45. So we're going to try and move these waves in. Already at the bottom inhibitor tower. Oh, goodness. Gets demolished. And sOAZ again just charging in. Feast Ryoma didn't even get the execute. Didn't need it. GLP back from Ryoma. Shockwave, but only on the tanky Stoneplate Cho. 100 D's going to try and fight here. Ssumday with a good ulti is going to get the kill. And with the frontliner down, maybe 100 Thieves can keep fighting, but Eika will break the mid tower as well. Was not present for that fight. Wasn't needed almost at the end of it. Ulti on the Meteos, back in his zone as he goes. 100 Thieves maybe going to try and defend these inhibs. Good hook there into Xmithie, forcing the flash, but not enough to save this inhib.
100 Thieves not even thinking about team fighting there. Really just thinking about how do we get the 2 inhibitors down, and they were ultimately successful in it. Only cost them 1 kill's worth of gold onto Cho. Now they're resetting, still have 53 seconds left on this Baron power play. By the time they push the top wave, there will be super minions right here that are running up the other waves, kind of crashing into the base. So that's going to be the difficult to defend moment for 100 Thieves that Immortals are going to try and crash next. We're going to watch this engagement one more time. You can see sOAZ does threaten a kill onto Ryoma, but since Eika doesn't even engage himself in this fight, you can see him over on the bottom left of your screen.
He's farming.
Yeah, he's
Oh, it's the tower.
hitting the turret. He's farming the turret as much as possible because the objective for Immortals is to break 2 inhibs, and they're able to do so.
It wasn't in frame, so I was like, is he just hitting it?
Yeah, I mean, it's guaranteed gold.
Yeah, true. And they do get both, as you mentioned. 100 Thieves trying to fight back, at least getting some kills on the board, but still need those critical third items. Ryoma looking for the death cap, but not there just yet. Soul Drake back up for the contest, if that will be a fight at all in 2:35. And I did, unfortunately, Jet, lose track of the gold tracker between Drakes, but I can tell you it's about doubled since the last time I remember you talking about it.
Gold didn't freeze.
So yes, the game clearly did not freeze.
Gold freeze was not the case. My personal point of view is that it's because 100 Thieves did not want to play that game, so they kept trying to force. You can see the argument why other teams don't force, because it did end up just making the gold worse throughout the course of the game, as Immortals now has an 8,000 gold lead, but Immortals stood their ground. They knew they had the Dragon Soul to play around. They still have it to play around, but they're going for this third hit.
Very nice ult there from Altec. Just again, chunking down Stunt and Ryoma. The fancy new hat is finished for the 100 Thieves mid laner. So shockwaves will be a bit more impactful if you can find some squishier targets in the backline especially. But it's kind of the least of their worries right now, as sOAZ is just face tanking. Pushing these waves in, Immortals continuing to just play on 3 fronts and split 100 Thieves apart.
Yeah, and even if this doesn't go well, they'll still have that Dragon Soul in 1 minute 30. But you can see Altec using his long-range gun as best as possible to get poke on.
Got Hakuho beside him, put down a Crescendum turret as well. Immortals.
By the way, Cho'Gath is big.
Yes, the largest minion. Oh goodness, back into the team he goes. He's still standing. Oh, almost gets the kill on Stunt with the Feast. He will finally fall. The Rupture will not pick up Stunt, who did burn his Stone Plate as well. And for once, Immortals lose sOAZ and don't get anything else.
He was in a little bit too deep base time. Now, actually, 100 Thieves.
Altec.
Okay.
Good damage. Does have his flash still, though. Stunt gonna find the hook. Maybe they can follow up here. Senna Root does follow. Unbreakable up, but not enough to keep Hakuho alive. I misspeak. No, Cody with the ulti and the auto was enough. Didn't need the extra.
Boy. So, Cody Sun is up to 87 souls. And he's got 3 lethality items now. Yeah, Aphelios is mega fed. But the next Infernal is up for 30 seconds. And Hakuho and Cho'Gath aren't alive while 100 Thieves can go for this setup. So actually, 100 Thieves now has a window where they can push out both of these super minion waves, teleport to get position, and actually hope for a fight at this Infernal. So the gold is back to about 6K. They have a lot of souls. They have a death cap. This is where you type winnable. Like, this is actually possible for 100 Thieves to make a comeback. Let's see. Braum's still in base. They're going to try and burst this down, and if they win the Smite War, they might be okay.
Ssumday ult up in about 2 seconds. So
Ssumday's got to get there, though.
move
Yeah,
back
they're
onto
just
the
gonna
Cho'Gath.
fight.
They are going to fight here. Moonlight Vigil out. Big Inferno damage.
Okay, they got to reset. Cody's got to auto as much as possible, and he's got to get his Qs off on the team. All right, they're
Might
giving
just
it
be
up.
falling back.
They're giving it up.
I mean, I think the right attempt there for 100 Thieves, Cody TPing in. They tried to set up and get the timing, but nice placed ult there from Altec. Gives the soul over to Immortals.
Ssumday had his TP that whole time. I wanted them there. Because we knew Immortals was going to contest the soul. It would have been a temporary 5v4, and I think they had a chance. Now it's much tougher with Infernal Soul on the other side. Watch for some Syndra one.
Oh, stun. Not sure he wanted to commit for that play. Just gets stunned up and killed by Xmithie. Hakuho is a good target you can try and pick off, but Stunt a little too far advanced of his team there. It's tough. I mean, 100 Thieves have no vision, basically no map control.
Yeah.
Contesting for anything is difficult. Baron is up. They're going to try and fight it, but Meteos just getting chunked out by Eika. Hakuho, they're playing defense, and Meteos is forced away. Ryoma, wrong place, wrong time. Into stasis he goes. No stun to save him with the Lantern. Shockwave's not bad, but he is going to fall down. Senna also going to keep alive for a little bit longer. But Aphelios finds a shutdown. Cody Sun dies to Eika. And only Ssumday left.
Infernal Soul Syndra. Unstoppable when he goes and gets range on a Cody Sun. Desperation contest there by 100 Thieves, Immortals, Control. This is going to be all she wrote.
Well, Altec picks up the Baron just in case they needed it. Was able to finish it off himself with both the Feast and the Smite in mid lane as Immortals are looking to crush down these final few towers and pick up the win again. Still in the hunt for second. We'll see them tomorrow in Monday Night League, but for now, it looks to be victory against 100 Thieves. They're going to dive some fountains, maybe. sOAZ, he's feeling it. Rupture and he goes. Doesn't even die to the laser. That's the ace completed and the victory earned for Immortals as they run over 100 Thieves.
And Immortals keep themselves in contention for second place, moving to 3-2. Quite an early season accomplishment for this team. Xmithie finding his way on a new team. Hakuho pairing himself with the new ADC and Altec, has looked pretty damn good in his first 5 games of this LCS split. So this game, again, kind of won through just a combination of teamwork. Eika ended up this game 6-0-5, really played well throughout. Can't point out any mistake he necessarily made. So very well played by Immortals, moving to 3-2.
It just felt like they got control and they never really let go. And that's what you want to see as Immortals. You know, Zab was saying the games are cleaning up, and I think you look at that game and you say, yeah, games are cleaning up. Very smooth sailing.
Yeah, for 100 Thieves, there's definitely going to be a lot to review after this one. They had such a nice-looking win against TL, had that opportunity to move to 4-2, but my personal opinion, they just kept over-contesting things they didn't have to and ended up kind of handing a lot of that game away. But that's the stuff you're trying to learn throughout the season, and 3-3 is not bad.
Still early days, but as we take a break, when we return, the Golden Guardians closer and TSM's Broken Blade. We'll talk about their relationship pre-LCS. You don't want to miss it. Gonna keep forward flashing there. The orange is out for a bit of extra health. Conqueror procs. Not quite enough. The rupture is good. So it's gonna be the bait. Now he's gonna get some real bad news. Another very accurate rupture. Unleashed power.
Here.
Yeah.
GP should have TP. GP should have TP, okay?
Good job.
Nice.
Let's hit tower, let's hit tower.
Just kill the Thresh and go bot. Kill the Thresh and go bot.
Ascend Arias here. Gragas flash.
Go back,
Attack mid wave, okay? Attack mid wave.
Can you siege bot as fire?
So Josh, you going for our Drive Safe and Save discount?
Yep, using the app, driving safe. You wanna go? You wanna go, bro? Hey, do not mess with my discount. Woo! You can save up to 30%. Let's go! Nice to meet you. Go get him, Tiger. Woo!
Sounds like you've got this.
Yeah, definitely.
Get a discount up to 30% with Drive Safe and Save from State Farm.